Today we're going to move into the last part of Unit 5, which is about dividing with decimals. Before we introduce what that looks like, we're going to practice single-digit division without decimals. Keep in mind as you're doing a problem like this, it is helpful to have your multiples listed out. So the first thing I'm going to do is take 4, and on the side here I'm going to list out 4 times 1, 4 times 2, and I'm going to go all the way up until I get to 4 times 9. This will help you when you're deciding how many groups you are going to make when you divide. When we use long division, we follow 4 basic steps. We divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. And I repeat these steps as many times as needed till I get to the end of the problem. So the first thing I want to do is try to divide. And I want to know how many groups of 4 I can make from the first digit 3. Okay, 3 is less than 4, so I obviously cannot make any groups. Remember to put your 0 placeholder. I'm still on my divide step because I haven't made any groups yet. But now I'm going to move into the second digit. So I have 32 divided by 4 this time. Okay, to help me determine this, I can look at my multiples and I see 32 matches perfectly. So if I count how many groups that is, that would be 8 groups. The number of groups you make goes on top. Make sure you keep it nice and organized, one number on top of the other. So because we were dividing 4 into 32, 8 goes above the 2. Moving down the list, after we divide, we multiply. So the number I just put on top, 8, will get multiplied by the 4, what we're dividing by. And then this value is going to be subtracted. Lining it up underneath the original 32, and we end up with 0. We continue following down our checklist. After we subtract, we bring down. Okay, bring down one digit only to start. And then we go back to the stop. So I go back to my divide step. Now I have 4 being divided by 4, which will let me make one group. Following down the list, the new number on top, 1, times that 4, means I'll be subtracting 4. Again, after subtract comes bring down, and we're repeating these steps all over again. So I have 4 again divided by 4, which, like we saw in the previous round, makes one group. 4 times 1 gets subtracted, and this problem works out perfectly without a remainder. So our next question here. Okay, so again, the first thing I want to do is I want to list out these multiples all the way up to 8 times 9. Feel free to take out a multiplication table to help you do this. 8 times 8 is 64, and then again we go up to 9. 8 times 9 is 72. And then also, for reference, I want to list out these steps again so I know which order I will be following. Okay, so first step is I want to try to divide 8 into 5. Again, 8 is bigger than 5, so I can make no groups. So now I'm going to try to divide 8 into 58. So I'm going to look over here on the side, and I want to get as close to 58 without being more. So if I go down here and I'm looking at 56, and then the next would be 64, 64 is too much, so I can get to 36. If I count out how many groups that is, I'll see that would make 7 groups. 7 goes above the 8. Next step is to multiply 7 times 8, and that gets subtracted. 8 take away 6 leaves me here with 2. And again, moving my way down my list, after I subtract, I bring down. Okay, so I will then start at the top again. 26 divided by 8. Looking over here, I can see I can make 3 groups. 8 times 3 will be subtracted. Again, after the subtract step, then we bring down. Right, then we know we can make 3 groups again, subtracting 24 again. Now we're going to deal with the remainder. Okay, for right now, I'm going to write this remainder as a fraction. So I have 733 is the whole number from up top. I had 2 left over out of 8. Okay, we are not worrying right now about making our remainder a decimal. We'll see that in a future lesson. Okay, so as you're working, again, I encourage you to list out the steps to kind of guide you one thing at a time, and list out those multiples to help you with that divide step.